All right, let me get this out of the way. So, all right, Ragnow, Decker, Laporta, Yodi, Sudfeld, Gibbs, Bam, Kirby, Branch, Davenport, Reeder, Kaminsky, Barnes, Mosley, Arnold, Rakestraw, Anzalone. All of those players are either limited, no practice, or out for personal reasons. And then all are could be PUP or doubtful to probable for the Rams. So, there you go. We got that out of the way. God, I've been dreading that the whole time, so now I'm glad we got that done. Day 3, OTAs. The first 2 days have been good. I thought yesterday was better than the first day. They're in good shape, all in all. We'll back down just a little bit today just to make sure we're being smart with it, but good work. Guys have been working hard. It really has. It's been a good spring, and so, look, we're in pajamas, all that. We're just kind of in the beginning phases of 2024 for football. But, man, I like where we're at, so that's what it is. Questions?
Dan, since you brought up the Rams, is it Super Bowl or bust this year for you guys from where you got to last year, so close to getting to the Super Bowl?
Yeah, I don't know the whole. I don't see bust. I see Super Bowl. I don't know what the bust is. So
Super Bowl or nothing else?
It's here's what I know, man. We all know what every team ought to have that, right? Every team ought to be like, man, what are you playing for? You're playing for a Super Bowl. So we're no different than that. But I think, yeah, we know that now. We work backwards from there, and so you got to set yourself up no different than last year. Certain things you got to do to really make that valid, make that a reality. So, and so that's, ultimately that's what we want to do. Now to do that, you better win the division. You got to give yourself the best odds you can, right? You need to win the division. You need the best seeding you possibly do. Okay, well, how do you do that? Well, you got to start with where we're at now. You got to go back to work. You got to do all the little things, which to this point our guys have done, man. They've been here for off season. They're grinding. They're working. We're in good shape. We're strong. We're physical. We're explosive. And we're just in the beginning of this.
One serious injury question is Brian Branch, since we saw the pictures of him during the draft, on a knee scooter. What happened to him, and what's his sort of status?
Yeah, he just he had a little cleanup there, something that coming out of last year that thought it might heal, and then it just ended up being, we better get this thing done. So So anyway, that's where he's at. That, and I think he likes riding the scooter. So but we feel like he's progressing well. We feel like he'll be ready to go in camp. If not, early enough, certainly he'll get enough reps to be ready for the season. That's how we feel right now.
Because both he and Kirby are dealing with things, and you have some of the young guys, does that give you more opportunity, I guess, to mix and match and kind of see who fits where and what they can do with this?
Yeah, it does. It does. That's a good thing. One of the things, getting a Meek, we've playing a Meek at some nickel here. Obviously we got Davis outside, and Dorsey's outside. Those guys, Rakestraw and Arnold really aren't getting a lot of reps right now. We're being smart with both of those guys. Just a couple of things popped up, nothing to panic about. But that's kind of the beauty of it, especially when they come back. We've got. Brad's done such a good job on the back end now. We've got a lot of competition back there, and then it's, man, who can do this? And that's just the beginning of this. Okay, Meek at nickel, we know Meek can play outside too, but then what about Rakestraw or Arnold or Dorse and Vildor, and we've got options, and so that's kind of what we're tinkering with a little bit right now. It is exciting though. It's pretty fun right now.
I don't think we've talked with you since before the draft. So how this offseason has gone, the draft and everything else, is it as, drama-free, as smooth as it could have been so far this offseason?
What do you mean drama? What do you, like with just...
No major incidents, no major injuries.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I assume you like the draft.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we're, everything has progressed nicely here. I mean, it's I felt like it was another good year, another good, the process of where we're at going into year 4, I thought, you know, Brad and his crew, it was, you know, I swear every year I'm like, how can we get this more efficient? And because it's so efficient right now, and he does it, it's unbelievable. I mean, he's a machine. So I love the players that we got. You know, free agency, obviously the draft. I love where we're at here. We're in a pretty good place right now. We really are. We're in a good place. You know, we got our guys signed back. That was big to be able to get Golf and Saint and Sewell. You know, those are a priority. And so it's been really good for us. It has. You know, we're sitting in a good place right now.
I know it's really early, Dan, but you know, pads haven't come on and all that kind of stuff, the competition. But when it comes to JMO, just how would you like him coming back? You know, you guys are probably gonna look to him to step into a number 2 role, and what does he come back like?
Yeah. Look, there again. All right, so we started this thing, you know, back in April, and you know, you got phase 1 for a couple of weeks. Then we've been on the grass for 3 weeks in phase 2, which has been routes on air and fundamentals and individual and doing all this, and then we're 2 practices in. And if you said, give me one player that is the most improved from that start to finish in that time, JMO would be that guy right now. All right, he is a man on a mission, and I'm just going to leave it at that. All right, I'm going to leave it at that.
Through 2 days, what are your early impressions of Terry on and his complete level? It seems like he brings a high level of confidence to that position.
Yep, no practice for him yet. He's doing a couple of little individual, just started yesterday, so I can't even answer that.
I want to ask you about Hendon. You know, was limited to mental reps through last offseason, and it was kind of a redshirt year for him. It's a big opportunity for him to grab that backup job this year. What are you looking for from him in season 2?
Yeah, really, he needs to take a step up. We need to feel like by the end of camp, this guy can run this offense. You know, he's somebody we know that, man, we can play the game a certain way with him. We know he's gonna be able to process the information. He's gonna get us in the right play, and he's somebody that we can. Man, he's gonna keep the ship afloat. That's it. You know, we don't need him to come in and win a game. You just want to feel like, all right. And so obviously he's gonna need to take another step up. The good news is, especially right now, he's getting a ton of reps. I mean, in the last 2 days, he's really getting all the second and third group, because Sudfeld is limited. So, and that's a good thing. So we're just gonna douse him with reps, and he's getting all of this. He's gonna get a ton in training camp, and you know, that's the best thing he can get right now is reps. So.
Dan, you mentioned some of the moves, Brock Wright, keeping him away from the 49ers was one of them. How much does that help you in 2 tight end sets? And, you know, when and how do you decide how often? And has that become more of a norm formation?
Yeah, well, it helps because, you know, Brock, here we go, man. He's another one of these guys that we have a lot of trust in Brock. I mean, his professionalism, man, he's smart, he's tough, he's got versatility as a blocker, he's got speed down the middle of the field, and so, to your point, he allows us to do things personnel-wise with Laporta in the game. He does a lot of the dirty work, and he's kind of one of those unsung heroes, you know, and you got to have him. You got to have a guy like him. So it was big for us to be able to get him back, and he does. He brings more versatility to the offense. You know, he allows you to be able to play in 12 personnel and do some of those things because of not only his mental, but his ability to block and really stretch the field.
Coach, going back to your JMO comment where you said he was most improved, but overall, like all the players, what's the biggest factor in them showing you that they've improved, especially in this pajama phase of spring ball?
Yeah, well, I think with where we're at now, you know, for the most part, well, it is. We've got the coaches are intact. You know, we got Ben, we got AG back, we got Phip, we got Scotty, we got Shep, we got Hank, and so we can go across the board here. So we've got continuity with the staff. We got Golf, we got Sewell, we got Saint, we got Decker, we got Frank, you know, and then the defense. You got Hutch, you got Mack, so, man, you want to feel like, all right, man, let's take this to another level. Like let's raise let's raise everything. And this time of year, it can't be the physical necessarily or the violent side of the game, but man, the mental. Can we grow situational football? Can we really take this to the next step, man? You know, I talk about this level 401. We need to be playing and thinking in level 401 now, because we've all been together, and we got the talent here. We got smart guys. We got competitive guys. And so now, you know, some of these teams that are starting from scratch, now we need to be like, hey, man, we're in year 4 and we're all together. We've been together. So I think that's what I'm looking for. I want to know, even by the end of OTAs, man, we've taken this another level. I mean, you want to know, man, this time last year, we're even crisper than we were last year. You know, we've taken it to another notch, man. Our end of game situations, some of these things we've done, we made it harder on them than it was last year. You know, we've stressed them more. We've put a little more pressure on them, and I think ultimately that's what we're looking for. I am.
More specifically, is Jameson better?
What's that?
More specifically, is Jameson
Everywhere. And we're not in pads yet.
What have you seen from Broderick?
Everywhere.
Martin?
What's that?
What have you seen from Broderick Martin? He made that pajama step mentally.
Yeah, look, he's improving. And there again, it's hard to say without pads on. Until we get pads on, you know, that O-line, D-line. But I can tell you this, Terrell, who I got a lot of confidence in Terrell Williams, man, is our D-line coach. I think he really is. I think he's the best D-line coach in this league. And if he's not, you can argue what place he is. But, man, he's been working with him, you know, a ton of one-on-one, individual, and look, the kid wants it, he's working, and he's improving. And he's another guy. We just got to get him reps, and training camp's going to be pivotal for him with the pads on.
Did you figure out joint practices yet?
Yeah, so the Giants, we will go with the New York Giants. That'll be the week 1, preseason week 1. We'll go out there for a couple of days. And that'll be the only one we have this year, you know. So.
Did you want a second one?
Yes. Yeah. It's just, it didn't work out. You know, I know that, you know, I talked to Coach Reed a while back. That's just not necessarily something that they do. You know, that's not, and that's all good, you know. So we'll be here and no problem.
Hey, Dan, the last couple of years he came in at the same time with the team. I think we can. This year you coming in with I know we can. Does that permeate through the team as when they came back, and can you feel that?
Yeah, I can feel it. You have to believe and think that way, you know. And I think we all know what we're capable of here. But more importantly, yeah, it does permeate. But it's also, you can't just say it and then say we're going to believe and not put the work in. That's the most important thing. There is a belief, but I think the belief comes from the work that you put in and doing all the little things right and starting back from the ground up. And surpassing where you were at, you know, build from the ground up, and now we got to get even further. We got to think a little bit, you know, we got to think a little bit different here, you know, and there's got to be a different level of focus and detail to what we do, and that can never be lost. You know, you got to go earn everything again, and I mentioned this last year. I'm going to say it again. It's going to take a lot more than it did last year to get to where we were. That's just the nature of how it goes. And you know, but we're going to be more than capable of doing that. And you know, things got to go your way, but it does start with you. It starts with those players, starts with the coaches. We got to put the work in.
To follow up on the joint practices, what are the benefits of practicing against Dave Wilson?
Yeah, you get something different. You know, you get a different, you know, your O-line, D-line, receivers, DB, man, the backs, tight end, everything. You get a whole different, you get used to somebody over about a 10-day period, then now you get to go and, man, this guy runs routes a little bit different. His stems are different. The speed's different. He's a little more physical, or he's a little, whatever. It's just, man, I think it sparks the system. It gives you somebody new to see, and you adjust and react, and so that's where I think it's good. And then it breaks up a little bit of the monotony of camp against going to each other. You know, it's something, it's just a little fresh, you know.
Change anything then, since you don't have a second set, like play starters in the preseason at all, or do something different?
Yeah, I'm still tinkering with that a little bit. You know, certainly we'll get our work done here, you know, however we need to do that, whether we're playing in the preseason or we're getting it done here together during that week with the starters. And the guys we're going to count on. We'll have a good plan. We'll have them ready to go.
Dan, outside of all the positive things we've talked about, you've talked about, we asked you about, outside of injuries, do you worry about anything in particular with your team?
No, I don't. I mean, and injuries, you have no control. You do the best you can with the way you set things up, and, you know, training is a big part of that. Guys taking care of their body, but no, you know, no, I don't, you know. I mean, what I worry about is things that we have control of, and so I shouldn't have to worry about it, right? So we put the work in. Nobody gets complacent. There shouldn't be any entitlement. Man, we got to go back to work, and as long as we do that, we'll be just fine.
Just the last one. You mentioned the extensions with your trio of stars. You and Brad also got extensions this year. It's tough business. It's tough to get those second contracts. Coaches and GMs, just what did that milestone mean to you for both of you?
Well, look, I'm fortunate. I mean, to me, those coaches and Brad himself and that crew over there and those players, you know, that's because of them. So, you know, I'm thankful for that, and I'm thankful to be around the people that I'm around, you know, and because they make me a better coach. There's no doubt about that. So, you know, and here we go, man. We're into the next phase.
Thank you, guys.
All right, thanks.